Some cities make an impression through their skyline, others through stories passed down over generations. Bengaluru does both. Welcome to another episode of Electrifying India. And this is not just India's Silicon Valley, it's a whirlpool of innovation, culture, art, and history. And we're here to find out what makes this city tick. So let's go. Nothing says Bengaluru like a steaming hot cup of filter coffee in the morning. And there's no better place than the Mawali Tiffin Rooms, MTR as it's known locally. And this is the perfect place to introduce our guest who's going to show us this beautiful, beautiful boomtown, Ajay Sugumaran.
Hi.
Hi, good morning, and a
Morning.
great place to catch up for coffee.
Thank you for having me here.
We have a lot of exciting things for our viewers. Where do we start?
Lalbagh. That's probably as iconic as you can get. So there's a lot of history there, and it's one of the greenest spots in Bangalore.
Perfect, let's do that then. Oh man, nothing wakes you up like some authentic filter
Strong
coffee in
filter
the morning. Lalbagh is our next destination. Why we picked it?
One, it's iconic. It's a huge lung space.
I was just about to say it's like the lungs of this incredible boomtown. Apparently, there are two entire lakes inside the Lalbagh.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah, you can see that map there. Yeah, that's pretty neat. You've got a very good view there.
Yeah.
You'll see a little hillock with a rock with a small tower on it. That tower was erected by Bangalore's founder, Kempe Gowda.
Oh.
1500s, 1537 or. But that's when the Kempe Gowda is believed to have laid the foundations for a city that he envisioned. He was a local chieftain here, and not far from here, he had two sets of bullocks. So he got them to go in a northeast line and then crisscrossing in an east-west direction.
Okay.
From there, he planned out streets parallel to those lines. So that grid was the beginning of Bangalore.
As we know it.
So we are headed to a locality called Basavanagudi. I think late 1800s, 1898, there was a plague in Bangalore. The administrators then moved the population into more open areas because the core was congested. So they moved south, this locality called Basavanagudi where we're headed, and they created another locality to the north of the Pete area that was called Malleshwaram. Both of these are iconic localities. Basavanagudi is also a cultural hub. We'll just be driving through there. Yeah, so this is Basavanagudi, and it's a lovely place, green.
Yeah, I mean, not too many cities that have avenues like this lined with trees and in the shade, even like with the sun outside.
Bangalore became green because there was an effort, an initiative to.
I mean, I'm loving how green Bangalore is.
I think a big greening initiative happened in the 80s. A former forest department officer, Naginal, he spearheaded this greening initiative. So thanks to that, and they were all carefully chosen. I remember reading this somewhere that so you'd have different kind of blossoms, yellow, pink. Then you'll have the mayflowers, those lovely red ones. So every month you'll have a blossom. You saw something in Lalbagh.
Yeah.
Two pieces of trivia here. One, the signal we are approaching.
Yep.
That's the first traffic signal in Bangalore. So they have a board put up there as well.
You are approaching the first traffic signal of Bengaluru city.
Now this is pretty interesting because the place we're going to next, we're stopping next, is a vintage electric street light. Bangalore is believed to be, it is, the first city in India to have electric street lights. They had a scheme to, have electric street lights. This was in 1905.
That's incredible.
And the reason for that is just south of here, the Kaveri flows about 120 kilometers from here, and it plunges into a gorge at Shivanasamudram, transporting power from Shivanasamudram to Kola gold fields. That must be roughly about 150 kilometers.
That's incredible.
Yeah, quite.
And clean, green electricity.
Yeah, so they had surplus power, so they brought in a line into Bangalore and designed electric street lamps. Until then, they were using kerosene for street lamps, I think.
Man, this was a nice touch to electrifying India. Where to next?
Grab some grub.
Okay.
We'll head to downtown Bangalore. Airlines. It's a
Airlines, huh?
yeah. It's a pretty. It's an old Bangalore restaurant, open air.
And now we're at Airlines, which is another iconic landmark that you kind of have to cover in Bangalore.
Where we're sitting right now,
Yeah.
it's kind of the central part. So we've got some of the oldest schools in Bangalore.
So what is your pick?
I suppose the dosas would be fine. I'll be more partial to an upma if they've got one.
What's
Yeah,
happening with
so-
the water?
It's jeera. It's hot water, right?
Oh. Oh. That's classy.
Bishop Cotton's there, both the boys and the girls. And just down the road here, there's St. Joseph's. And then dotted around are a few others. And just across from where we are is MG Road.
Ah.
These are all big hangouts for people generally because they're shopping centers and like it.
Yeah. Oh man, that breakfast was just. So now that our stomachs are full and our batteries are recharged and the car is charged. Okay, so you were giving me context to this very interesting person that you want to introduce us to, who has a lot to say about Bangalore and the cultural development of the city.
Yes, we're going to be meeting V. Ravichandar. He's an urbanist and he calls himself an evangelist for the city. So he's been on most city development committees for the last 25 years. And so he has a very close perspective of Bangalore. In fact, recently he was on a committee that oversaw a restructuring of Bangalore's municipal body called the Brihat Bangalore Mahanagarapalike, BBMP, that oversaw a jurisdiction of some 800 square kilometers. Huge.
Welcome back, and we have a very special guest today, Mr. Ravichandar. He knows Bangalore in and out. How would you place the city, and its culture?
So actually the story of Bangalore it's a mixed story. There are the highs, there are the lows, and there is day-to-day life. The way I see Bangalore is, you can technically look at it in terms of hard infrastructure and soft infrastructure. So the hard infrastructure are the roads, the sewerage at one level. Also these institutions that exist, the startup corporates and successful businesses that run out there. In my mind, the big development of the last decade in Bangalore, while we have had our infrastructure challenges, is actually the development of arts and culture. Bangalore would be that. You had Arundhati Nag setting up Rang Shankara for Karra Theatre, the Rajas setting up Jagriti, which is now in the Republic of Whitefield on the outskirts of Bangalore. But after that, there's been a long lull. And then you had the Bangalore International Centre. You have a place like Sabha where we are sitting right now. You have the Science Gallery Bangalore. You have the Indian Music Experience in JP Nagar. The Venkatappa Art Gallery has been refurbished. Museum of Art and Photography is happening. So there's a whole lot of institutions as public spaces that are cropping up. And as we speak, I'm aware of another 5-6 coming up at the institutional level.
I've been doing some reading on you, and you're so many things to Bangalore. But what is it that you consider your life's work?
Something for me personally changed in 2000. I had a chance to work in something called the Bangalore Agenda Task Force when Nandan Nilekani was the chairman. And I got hooked to the idea of what is possible So out of 100 ideas that I give, 97 fall by the wayside. But 2-3 have succeeded. The city's property tax, roads with pedestrians on the footpath,
I was going.
and a Lalbagh rejuvenation. Recently, the city has been split into 5 corporations. I've been part of that. On the arts and culture scene, I've been fortunate to be part of the Bangalore International Centre, Sabha, the Bangalore Habba, the Bangalore Lit Fest. So what drives me is I have been privileged and fortunate to do things I want. Everything that I've done actually is pro bono. So I have been comfortable financially thanks to circumstances, and consequently I could make choices that appeal to me. So nothing that I do is something I don't want to do. So not many people can claim that. People have to go and do a 9-to-5 job or something else. I have been very, very fortunate. And I don't even see this as giving back to Bangalore, my work in the hard and soft infrastructure over the last 26 years. I have actually got more than I've given.
So you're a contrarian, because everybody who I know is from Bangalore is always complaining that Bangalore needs wider roads for cars. And one of your causes that I was reading on, and it took me aback, was that you said we need wider pedestrian footpaths.
Yes.
So what was the thought behind it?
So the reason for that is, it's my belief that a civilized society is one which takes care of its most vulnerable population. Who are the most vulnerable people on our streets? The most vulnerable person is the pedestrian, because they can get killed. The next vulnerable is the person on the bicycle. And the next one who needs to actually be protected and promoted are people in public transport. Motorists, cars and two-wheelers can get their right of way, but we can't design the infrastructure around them. It has to be designed around the vulnerable. So I believe that if you plan a city for the most vulnerable, the rest will automatically benefit. The founder of this place, he's the guy who built the High Court. He was a very successful contractor. Dharma Ratnakar Rai Bahadur Arkat Narayan Swami Mudaliar, 1827 to 1910. So he set up a trust. That whole cricket ground, football ground, that place where Cinnamon is, all that is RBNMS property. This is also RBNMS property. So they own almost half of this place. He was that rich. And he set up a trust where his great-great-grandchildren and grandnephews and nieces are still running it. What he imagined when he set up the trust, I think he set up the trust around 1850 or something, 1850, 1860. 150, 60 years later.
School in
In those times. Govindamal Girls' School in 1886.
It's unbelievable.
Women and Dalit communities then, 140 years ago.
Visionary. So what is the concept behind it?
So this is a drain, a stormwater drain called the K-100 Citizens Walkway project. This stormwater drain is about roughly 9 kilometers or so. It connects from the heart of the city to it goes all the way to Korumangala, which is a locality,
Okay.
and drains into Bellandur.
I love the landscaping that they've done with it.
So the idea is to make this less of a drain and more of a public space,
Which
to
is-
reclaim it.
Which is exactly what we were talking about just now. This is a model that any city can adopt and kind of reclaim what India has always called nalas,
Yes.
back to public spaces that hang out in the evening, a nice place to walk.
Yes, and if it's cleaner, it also solves the urban flooding problem because water has a way to, a path to go.
That's so cool. In fact, now recapping on everything that we've seen so far, it's been a mix of the origins and where Bangalore is headed and how it's evolving from a boomtown that essentially wasn't ready for the expansion that it got,
Yeah.
to now how it's learning to cope with it, which is going to be the case with almost every Indian city going forward. I mean, if it's not like Mr. Ravichandar was saying, plug and play cities, it could be any city next that's not prepared for it. But these kind of initiatives give it a place or a model to work from, right?
Yeah. Very interesting ideas, and probably the ideas that we actually need. We just need to execute them well.
thank you so much for showing me around and giving me this unique perspective, because I mean, everybody talks about the Googleable things, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it's when you walk and experience a city with somebody who's lived here all his life that you really get a sense of the struggles, the nuances that go into making a city so cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Ajay.
Oh, you're welcome. I've had great fun.
It was a great
Yeah.
day seeing Bangalore, and I've learned so much.
So have I actually. Thank you.
Signing off, guys.